Hi, my name is Amanda Gonzalez, and today I will be answering the question, how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? So, our film 1101 is categorized as a crime drama. Some films in this genre include Baby Driver, which is a heist film, or even The Zodiac, which is a crime solving film. Our film is closer related to The Zodiac as there is a crime being solved. Now I can begin answering our first question, which is, how does your product use or challenge conventions? In our opening, we used conventions to portray typical things that are seen throughout the crime drama, which include crime, obviously, and partners and injustice. So, for the crime, we have Detective Peter, called Detective Stewie, which is our main character. He can try and get Detective Stewie to a crime scene. We also use Detective Peter to portray the convention of a partner, which is seen a lot throughout the crime drama. Peter calls him on his day off because he knows how essential Stewie will be to this case because of his personal issues with it. Our final convention is injustice, which we portray with the unsolved case of Stewie's late wife Meg's death. A conversation between Stewie and Peter, where Peter says the scene looks a little too similar to Meg's death. And right after he says that, we see the change in expression on Stewie's face. Not just his face, but his body language. And the camera cuts to this case file titled 1101, and then we get a flashback of this woman. So we know that this woman, Meg, has something to do with Stewie, and you can assume that is something more than platonic because of how affected Stewie is by the mention of her. Our next question is, how does your product represent social groups? The two social groups presented in our film are law enforcement and widowers. In order to present our two characters as law enforcement, we make sure that Detective Peter and Detective Stewie have badges present with them throughout the scene. So in the car, Peter is wearing his badge around his neck, and they refer to one another as Detective Peter and Detective Stewie. And at the end of the sequence, you see Detective Stewie reaching over for his badge. The second social group that is presented in our opening are widowers, and widower is the term for men who have had their spouse pass away. And in this case, the widower is Stewie. We convey that Stewie is a widower through the mention of his late wife Meg. We also use a flashback scene of his wife to express that she is something of the past. Our next question is, how does your product represent social issues? So, the three main social issues that we present in our film opening include alcoholism, depression, and grief. So, we present Stewie as an alcoholic by having him drinking a very full glass of whiskey in the middle of the day, and there is a half empty bottle right next to it. And then we portray Stewie as someone dealing with depression because he uses his alcoholism as an escape from his emotional grief, which is our final social issue. And we present this grief through the alcoholism and depression that Stewie is undergoing throughout this whole sequence, and the change of expression when the mention of Meg is discussed. So that is all, and I would like to thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day.